Good morning, people. This is Quincy W. King, Senior, standing in for speaking and questioning for the people. And this morning, I have attorney Nathan Baskerville with me, and he's running for the North Carolina House of Representatives. Just say good morning to the people.
Good morning, Vance, Warren, and Granville Counties.
It's good to be here this morning, and it's a pleasure for you sitting in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I'm kind of sitting in this morning questioning for the people some of the questions that they would have that they may not get the opportunity to ask you, but I know would be important to them. And this morning, if we could start, I would like to first of all start off asking you to just tell the people a little about yourself and what you stand for, you know, who you are.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Nathan Baskerville. I live here in Henderson, Vance County, born and bred in Henderson. Went to school here and then went to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, and I came back home. I'm just a country boy. I came back home, couldn't deal with the big city. Came back to North Carolina, went to law school at North Carolina Central University. When I got out of law school, I started working in the district attorney's office. I was your assistant district attorney if you live in Vance, Warren, Granville counties. I fought to keep the streets safe for you. After I left the district attorney's office, I opened up my own law firm, and I have my own private law firm in Henderson, North Carolina.
Where we're sitting at this moment.
That's where we are, in my law library in my office on 424 North William Street.
I feel protected already. But let me ask you a really important question that I think would be important to a lot of people. I know you personally, but tell the people why you're running for office. Why are you running for office? What's the thing that you think you can do there to make a difference?
Quincy, I'm running for the State House of Representatives because I believe that the good folks in Vance, Warren, and Granville counties are still worth fighting for. For so long, we haven't had any representation in Raleigh. Our leaders in Raleigh have been looking out for the special interest instead of keeping the folks' interest at heart that they're supposed to be representing. Right. And we deserve a fighter, someone that's going to go and fight for them and do what's right. In these 21st century times, we need bold leadership, trusted leadership.
That's right.
And that's what I plan on bringing to the table.
You said a key factor there. Trusted leadership is a great thing. So a lot of time we have candidates, different candidates, and they'll come around and they tell us a lot of good stuff. And then when it comes time for them to produce that, we don't ever see it. And me knowing you, I've seen your, through your track record, I've seen that you've been a man that have upheld whatever you said that you were going to do. You have upheld that, and that's what me personally, that's what I love, that I see in you. But I want to just move on a little further. I know you have a lot of experience in law, and but I want to know the experience that you have now. How would that experience help you in the North Carolina, house? How would that the experience that you come through the years with? How would that help you to help the people?
I think that I'm uniquely qualified, and my experience as an attorney uniquely qualifies me to be a legislator. In Raleigh, you have Democrats, I'm a Democrat, and you have Republicans. Right. Both of them have an opportunity to write the law.
That's right.
Now, as an attorney, I have to be able to anticipate the other side's argument. I have to be able to understand where they're coming from, right, in order for me to be the most effective advocate I can be for my side.
That's right.
So a legislator, a representative negotiates. They negotiate. And that's what I do as an attorney. I advocate for my position and I negotiate with the other side. So that's all I do all day long. In the courthouse, in my office, I negotiate. I advocate for my clients. I advocate the positions that I believe in. And I'll do the same thing if you send me to Raleigh.
I was, over the last few months here, I've been watching you, and one thing that I love about you, you don't mind letting whoever know that you have a love for God. And I think that's an important thing, because if you're going to lead, it's impossible for us to lead without someone leading us, and God. I can't think of a better person to lead us than God. And I've noticed sometimes when you're going around, you always acknowledge that you love the Lord, and I think that's a great thing, man. We don't have enough of that. I think too many men and women try to lead on their own ability, and we don't really have the ability unless he gives it to us. And so I just commend you for that, you know, for that being able to stand up and stand out. And I want to just kind of...
I mean, if I could, God has...
Yeah, go ahead, please.
God has shown so much favor in my life. God has truly blessed me, and He's the foundation of my life,
That's right.
of my career, of my every walk. Everything I do is based in the love of God. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't without Him.
That's right.
But I've been tremendously blessed and fortunate, but everyone has not been. That's truly who this campaign is about. It's not about me. It's about the folks that are less fortunate.
That's right.
It's about the folks that don't have an advocate, that don't have somebody to fight for them, that might not have been able to walk in the paths that God has allowed me to. So I want to fight for them. I want to be an advocate for them. It's not all about me.
And you know, you said something that's very important. There's a lot of people that don't have a voice. They don't have a voice. You know, they have thoughts and they know things that are wrong and they know things that are right, but they don't really have a voice. And so many times, those that would try to have a voice are shut out. And you know, and I'm glad to know that there's somebody willing to speak out for those people that don't have a voice. And they may not be millionaires or anything to that standard, but that doesn't concern you. What concerns you are the people, and that's what we need, somebody that's now concerned about the people. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to please this group of people or this group. Somebody that's really, really willing to stand out and stand up for the people that don't have a voice. And I love that about you, man. I really do. Well, let me ask you this. God blesses you and you move forward in this campaign and the people help you and you get in. What are your plans for the state representative? What are your plans? When you're there, what are your plans in there?
This campaign for Warren, Vance, and Granville counties is based on two principles. That in order for us to compete and be strong in the 21st century,
Right.
we need to prepare ourselves for 21st century challenges.
True.
And I truly believe that those two are economic opportunity for everyone and a quality public education system for everyone. So my number one issue in the legislature is going to be to provide quality education to all of our children. Now, we cannot, every citizen in North Carolina is guaranteed the right and the privilege to a quality education. And it's the state's duty to guard and maintain that right. That's in our Constitution. And we can't protect that right if every time we turn around, we're cutting the budget.
That's
we're
right.
slashing funding for schools. We're slashing funding for teachers. We're shutting down early childhood education programs. We're making it harder for teachers to receive advanced certificate and advanced
Right.
training. So my agenda in Raleigh is going to be to undo all of these drastic budget cuts, to fund our education system pursuant to our Constitution. We have a right to it. That's the leadership's job to do, is to follow the Constitution and provide the rights accordingly. And like I said, we can't do that if we slash the budget. I'm going to invest in our children, invest in our in our future,
Right.
so that we can face the 21st century challenges. Economic opportunity for all. Now, 86% of the jobs created in North Carolina come from small businesses. That's folks that have 20 or less employees. Now, you might hear some folks talking about a small business and they're talking about somebody that's got 100 employees, 200 employees. That's not a small business, Quincy.
Right.
Okay? I'm talking about, you know, the mom and pop corner stores.
That's
I'm
right.
talking about the 1 or 2 person cleaning teams that go around and make sure the other businesses look good and ready for business. I'm talking about the barber shops. These are small businesses. These are the ones that need somebody in Raleigh that's going to stand up and fight for them. If we have an educated population, if we have an educated workforce, that is going to provide economic opportunity for them because they're trained and in a position where they can take a job if there's a job available.
That's exactly right.
I believe that a state rep should be encouraging more cooperation between our community college system and the business community. Directly train students for potential employment in industries.
That's right.
We have, if we have a industry that needs a particular type of work done, train the kids at the college for that position.
Train.
We got to train them. But we just can't think about students. We have a older workforce now that doesn't have all of the skills like computer skills in this digital era.
That's right.
We need to train them so that they can be competitive in these new jobs that require specialized skills. We need to train, we need to invest, and we need to encourage hiring through tax breaks directly linked to each additional job offered. That's the way we prepare ourselves for the 21st century.
And you know, I like what you said there about training, and I think that that's an important part. And I was thinking back, you know, to when I was coming up, we had stuff like Head Start, you know what I'm saying? And that was great for me because I was advanced when I got into kindergarten.
Exactly.
And we need those type of functions going on because, like you said a minute ago, we have older people, and sometimes it's a little harder, which they need to be trained, but it's a little harder, but we should be able to look at them and say, we need to start earlier in our training so that when they're at that point, it's easier for them to catch on. You know, we really need that. So I'm very up when you say about training. That's an important part, and we need somebody that's going to push that.
Those formative years before kindergarten, pre-K, before the kids even get a chance to go to kindergarten, those are the formative years.
Yeah.
Those are so influential in determining where they're going to be when they start at regular school.
That's
you know, so we need to not cut Child Start.
That's right.
We ought not cut those type of programs. We need to invest in those to give our kids an advantage, a step forward towards achievement.
That's exactly right. And you know, some of the stuff that we do fund that really doesn't make any sense, that's some of the stuff we need to cut back on and get into investing in stuff that really makes sense. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be, and what we don't realize is if we, as you know what I'm saying, as a community invest in these type things, they're gonna come back to benefit us.
It's cheaper, it's more effective, and it saves us money in the long term.
That's right.
For example, we have $6 billion worth of tax exemptions in our state code. That's real money, $6 billion. There was a tax break just passed by the Republican legislatures, the Republicans in the General Assembly. That's $25 million for big multi-state companies that have companies in North Carolina and in other states, where they can make their profits in North Carolina but transfer that income over to another state, so they don't have to pay any taxes on the money that they make in North Carolina. That's $25 million a year. Now, that's $25 million less in teachers we can hire. There's $25 million less in schools that we can build. $25 million less in roads that we can repair. You get the point.
Oh yeah, I get the point.
So we have a budget. We just have our priority. Our priorities are misplaced.
Man, you know, when you were saying that, when you said $25 billion, and that's per company.
That's total. That's total tax exemptions. That's total money that we are missing out per year as a state. That's real dollars. How many teachers could you hire with that? I mean, I can't emphasize that enough.
Exactly.
How many books can you provide to the kids? How many computers can you put in the classrooms? I mean, this is real.
And do you know that we have schools that are not even really force computers up where they need to be?
Exactly. For example, you know, McDonald's. You know, you gotta fill out an application online now. That's right. For McDonald's.
You're right.
You know, they won't take that paper anymore. You got to go online and fill out that application. So our kids need to be accustomed to those sort of things. They need to be familiar with the computer. They need to be familiar with the internet and in other ways other than just Facebook and you know, they know about that.
Right.
But they need to be familiar with how to use the computer and get along in this digital era for employment, for ways to advance themselves.
And there's a lot of advancement if you understand technology, and we have to, as people, constantly prepare our young people for where the future is going. You know what I'm saying? We can't even dwell on 10 years ago. Just think about how far technology have came in the last 10 years.
That's right.
You know, at one time a computer was a big old boxy looking thing. Now,
Now it's
Your
like a phone.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Just your phone. Got everything on it. So we need to stay advanced. But I want to go down and I have one question. If you just got time, if I could ask this last question, I just want you to let the people know why they should vote for you. Why should they vote for you?
I think that, like I said earlier, we're living in the 21st century. We have a new district. Vance, Warren, and Granville counties are a part of a new district that's been drawn out by the legislature. And you need new leadership, bold leadership for the 21st century to represent you in this new district. I'm a straight up person. I'm a straight up guy. I tell you what I believe in, and I want you to be able to take it to the bank. And I'm that way because when folks talk to me, I want to be able to rely on what they're telling me. And I'm passionate. Don't let the baby face fool you. I'm 31 years old, and I'm not bragging, but I've accomplished a lot in my 31 years. Just imagine what I can do in the next 2 years if you send me to the General Assembly. A vote for me is a vote for all of us. It's a vote for our community. It's a vote for the future.
And let me say this, people, before we leave. You heard the young man say that he's been able to accomplish a lot. And the reason that this has happened because he was advanced in moving forward, you know what I'm saying? Education, he was advanced in that. And that this is just a living testimony of what he's saying when he said we need to invest. This is, when you all look, you know, the generation that's before him, when you all look back, this is part of your development. Things that, you know what I'm saying, that you did have helped him to come along. And we just, you know, I just want to say thank you, first of all, for believing in the people. And secondly, thank you for wanting to have a voice for the people that can no longer really speak for themselves. We need that. And I just want to shake your hand. And hey, look, you got my vote.
It.
And I
Thank
don't
you.
care who
Thank
know
you.
it, you got my vote.
Thank you.
Ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen, again, this is Quincy W. King and attorney Nathan Baskerville. And he's running for North Carolina House of Representatives. Vote for him. What's those dates? Give them the dates.
April 19th is the beginning of early voting, and you can vote in early voting for 2 weeks, and the primary starts May the 8th. April 19th and May the 8th.
We're looking for your vote.